here, but actually we're supposed to be in the starting soon screen because we got 36 seconds to go. I can't start prematurely. I've got more than 1,600 lurkers. My grandson has a program, one of these, what do they call them? Softwares that can check out how many lurkers a Twitch broadcaster has. I've got more than 1,500. So it's always good to be playing to a really large crowd. And let's go for the gameplay. It's time to start another instructional lesson at Lichess. And let's go. Okay, we're here. There's the play. Create the game. We played black last time. Hopefully we'll get white this time so we can play King's Gambit, which I've started a series of instructional videos about the King's Gambit. Oh, we get black again. Well, oh well. Oh, what is that? That's not so common. What do we do? What do we do? We got to go fast. Let's do it. Let's just advance that pawn up there and see what happens. Yeah, this is a kind of an irregular opening by white, and they do this sometimes because, and it works. It slows the opponent down a little bit because nobody has really much of a prepared response for that unless you're some sort of an expert, I suppose. One of these chess masters. You know, I'm a working guy. I'm not much of a, you know, if I had time to study everything for 6 hours a day, I'd probably be a little bit better than I am. That's why I'm not a prima donna. I have these chess videos for people like myself who want to learn chess and they don't want to spend a million years doing it. Here we're just working on the center, getting our pieces off the back rank. We're going to bring our rooks over. We've got this knight. The knight's very important to protect against this bishop, and we've got the knight protected here against that. Okay, we're going to bring a rook over. This would be the best rook to bring over. We're going to advance this pawn up to here to block that bishop out of there. And we can already do it. Let's just go ahead and do it. Get a pawn up there in the center. He's playing very well. It might be time now already to go against that knight. Let's do it. If he doesn't react very well here, we can take the knight and then retake again with the queen and win a pawn. I'm not seeing how he can protect against that. We'll see if he comes up with something. What's he rated? He's got a question mark there. I think we're going to be okay here. Let's just try it. It's a fast game. We're playing for fun. If you don't win, you don't win. We're a pawn ahead, and we're doing good on time, so let's try to trade down and see what happens. You know, you can't... You know, a lot of people, they don't like to trade queens, and you can actually take advantage of that. People have a psychological problem about trading queens, so sometimes it's good to offer a trade. Now we want to advance this pawn up. We got to figure out now, take a second to see what we're going to do with our rooks and everything. He doesn't have a white bishop, so I'm not afraid about this diagonal. And we have to free up this white bishop against his knight. So that's why I did that. We're a pawn ahead. If he gets that pawn, which I don't think he will, that won't be the end of the world. What should we do? Okay, let's... I think we don't want to lose the pawn. We'll move the pawn up there. If he takes here with a knight, that's no big problem. Hey, how you doing? Good to see you. Well, we've got one of the lurkers came out of the woodwork. Here we go. We're going to protect this pawn here against that bishop. And we move that up too because this can come over. at the right time. I don't know if right now is the time to do that. Okay, we're going to trade down here. I think the best thing we can do is just try to trade down, and we've got 245. With this pawn here, looks like a good target. If he doesn't react too good right now, we'll get him. What should we do? Wow, I would like to stay onto that pawn, and also I'll protect this pawn with my bishop. See, he can't come down and check our king because our king's right on that file. Yeah, that's a Lichess game. It's Steinitch. Steinitch. Go ahead and look it up. Steinitch on Lichess. Glad you're here. Okay, we're going to try to get that pawn over there. If he moves his king away from the pawn, we'll just take the pawn right now with our bishop because we've got two people protecting this pawn. Let's go ahead and take that thing. It's always good to win pawns. Okay, we're doing good on time. You spell it Steinitch, Steinitch. You see we got a wall here with the rook. He can't advance his king past this wall. Cool, man. I'm glad you got that. I'm glad you're here. Okay, now we're going to move up our king against his king. This is called opposition. Hey, man, I'm glad. You just be around, man. Stick around. We're going to have fun. Always check out Steinitch. We're playing, 204 against 213. We're low on the clock here, a little bit low, but not too bad. We're going to advance these pawns against the opposition of his king. And let's just see what we get here. The pawns now make a wall right here. Look, 1, 2, all of these squares, the pawns protect. We've got a white black bishop. We can't really attack these white pawns back here, but we'll just keep trying to advance those pawns up. Now I did that because to protect this black square, I want to move this pawn up. Okay, and now we're going to protect this pawn against him taking here, and which we did. And we're just going to keep advancing these pawns. We've got a minute and 51 against his minute. Now see, we've got these two pawns to hold him back. I'm not really too much afraid of that situation over there. If he advances, we advance this, and you will see, we will hold those pawns back. He's going to come up and advance. He's going to, I spoke too soon, but we'll be okay. We've got a minute and 28 against a minute and 23. Okay, we're okay because our king is protected on this diagonal. If he tries to attack these pawns on the diagonal, we will move our bishop up to here, also protecting the two pawns on the diagonal. So we're doing okay. I'm hoping he's going to win on. I'm hoping we're going to win on the clock here. Okay, we got to go. We got to protect both of those pawns and block his pawn. Now, hopefully, we will just win on time. Like I say, we will see what happens here. Would love to win on time. He can't move his king up. I'm going to move my king over and try to take this pawn over here because he sees that we're kind of stalemated here. And if I take that pawn, I can also advance this pawn. Now he's going to attack that pawn. I come up there. I can easily make a queen now if he comes up there. Look at this. Check. And I don't think he's going to be able to stop this pawn if he takes that one. Now we're going to get a pawn on this side too. He's got 17 seconds to play. Unless we really screw up bad here. He just resigned. He saw that he was, well, we quit, we're going to quit while we're ahead here. I mean, for a little bit, but cool, man. Hey, I'm looking at your name. Nice to see you here. Anyway, I got to move my things around here. James, it's cool to have you around. Okay, let's do this chess analysis, Lee Chess. This is all for free. Free. Everything's free on Lee Chess. And let's take a look at this and see how this goes. You can see we're winning there at the end. We got a really nice position. You see this black here on the analysis. The black, when it's black like that, it means black is ahead. And if there's white stuff up here, it means white is ahead. But he was not ahead anywhere except for a little bit right there. Okay, let's do the post-mortem here. Let me just check and make sure you guys can see still. Okay, yeah, everything's fine. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna go back here now to the gameplay and do the post-mortem. And here we go. Okay, we lost a little bit of time there in the beginning because he's doing what I call an irregular opening. Most people don't play that, and you have to think a little bit. But as long as you follow the opening procedures, you shouldn't have much problems. I mean, by procedures, I just mean general principles. You don't need to know you don't have to memorize openings, really. You just have to, you see, he's attacking here, so obviously there's an opening principle where, he's attacking a piece, guard it in a way that protects it well, and if he takes that, I take there, then I get the long diagonal. It would be against his interest to try to take that knight, so it's guarded well. Okay, we castled. It's always good to get your king out of the center, and I don't know why he did that. Maybe it's a waste of time, but we're doing the correct thing by controlling the center. We have several nicely positioned pawn here, and it's good to bring this pawn up so that this knight can come up behind it. And here we go, the knight comes up behind. We have a very strong center. We have pawns that are dominating the center. We've got a knight. Okay, he takes our knight. He pins our knight. He's not pinning it really because the king's not there, but he's threatening the knight. And if he takes the knight, we can retake with the pawn to bring a pawn over in the center. In this case, I preferred to take with the bishop because I saw a possibility for the bishop to get this white diagonal coming down to that side. Yeah, that's an interesting opening there, James. Like I say, I don't know. I think we've got a new game on the board here. If you look this up, you can look this up later in some chess database, but I don't think I doubt that anyone's ever played this game before. Because again, I'm not playing a book or anything. I'm just thinking about diagonals. I've got this bishop pointed toward the king. I've got the strong center, so I'm doing okay according to opening principles. And I moved that pawn up. You'll remember during the game, it was because I was going to get that long diagonal. Now he should move that pawn up, but I blocked off that bishop right there with that. That was the main reason. Okay, so he moved that pawn up. I lose my diagonal, but he loses his extra long diagonal, which is against this knight, so I'm happy with that. Okay, and then you remember during the game, I said I was threatening to take the knight and then win a pawn, and then he came out there, so I just did it. I calculated a little bit and saw that it was possible. And he did that with his knight. He's not really threatening a lot there. I said, okay, let's go ahead and just trade down. We're okay on time. And okay, so he was attacking my bishop. My bishop was here. He was attacking it with his knight, so I came up there, check. I've got a nice bishop there. Cool, yeah, I guess I got a challenge here. All right, I mean, sure, why not? I'll do it for sure. Let's go ahead and finish this analysis and see what we got going here. Okay, and you'll remember he's attacking our bishop. I decided it was better to save this pawn because this pawn was being attacked by the rook. He took that bishop, but we didn't have any problem. We protected that pawn, and we didn't have any problem from here on out. We just developed this rook. We brought him out there to develop. Again, offering the trade-off, and you'll remember how this was. I brought him back here. They're saying I should have brought him back here. I wanted two pieces protecting this pawn. Yeah, well, you know, that's all I can offer, James, is my thoughts. A lot of people can offer a lot more things, but that's what I have, are these detailed thoughts. I just kind of like stream of thoughting. What do they call that? Stream of consciousness here. Let's go ahead. There we go. Okay, we moved him away from that pawn. Remember that rooks create a wall. And that's a wall right there that separates his king from that pawn. So now we can take the pawn. We're going to... now, I didn't have to concentrate a lot. Like, what can his king do? A lot of people think, well... Can I look ahead? How many moves can I look ahead? Well, I just look ahead and I see, well, I've got a wall here with the rook. His king cannot advance anymore. This king is protecting against an invasion from his rook. This rook is protecting this pawn against the bishop. So, you know, I don't have to consider a lot of combinations. I did that because I want to protect him, and also now I've got double attack, double defense on this pawn. So now the rook is free to move. And free to move, and I moved, and okay, I'm not going to go through this whole situation here, but this is just advancing pawns against the king. Make sure that the king can't come up. And I did that with my rook. Basically, my rook is on black. He's protecting these black squares between the pawns when they're on white. And then when the pawns move up, and then you see he brought those pawns are very strong moving up. And we were kind of like playing the time here, and there was a little bit of calculation here where the bishop can protect the two pawns, protect this against moving up. The king is protecting those moving up, and we basically have a one game. I mean, there's very little he can do here. And then here I decided to move the king over to this side. Maybe I lose a pawn over there, but I'm going to advance a pawn on this side. There I saw that if he takes this pawn now, this pawn is going to go down to make the king. On white, he can't protect it with the bishop. So it was an easy game, and then he resigned. Okay, so we got a comer here. James is going to play next. I'm going to sign off here. That was a nice broadcast. We're going to end the broadcast here, and I'm going to put the little, what do they call that? The intervening screen there, just to say, okay, we're going to be back soon, and then we're going to have another game up here really quick against James. Okay, see you in just a few minutes.